Welcome to the Everything Actioncast, the official podcast of everythingaction.com.
Hello and welcome to the Everything Actioncast, the podcast for the week of April 8th, 2024. I'm your host, Zach.
I'm your co-host, Chris.
And yeah, this week we are climbing into our police interceptors and heading back to 1979 to celebrate the 45th anniversary of Mad Max, the original Mad Max. It debuted in its native Australia on April 12th, 1979. So actually, if you're hearing this day goes out, it's today is the 40th anniversary of Mad Max. And it also kind of like lines up along with another post-apocalyptic thing that happened this week. It's the Fallout TV show debut. It's kind of a double dose of post-apocalyptic goodness happening.
Though I would argue that the Mad Max movie isn't so much of a post-apocalyptic future.
The first one is apparently it's on the world is on the verge of apocalypse, but it doesn't seem like it. But yeah, 1979, George Miller directed it. I don't know if it was his first movie, but it was his first movie. So this is like his directorial debut, and then next three movies were the next two Mad Max movies. So it's like Mad Max, Road Warrior, Thunderdome were all his first three movies, and then he started branching out into other stuff like Babe and Happy Feet.
Yeah, he had a counterbalance his like insane Australian sci-fi lore,
and then jump right back into it with Fury Road and the upcoming Furiosa. But yeah, the first Mad Max, it's definitely going if you going back to it like where we are now in the Mad Max franchise with the hyper stylized, hyper crazy, almost neon like hyper colored Fury Road Furiosa style. Like the first Mad Max is like a very quaint, very small scale, it's and then like we mentioned, it doesn't seem like that bad of things are. I mean, apparently something bad things are happening in the background, but it doesn't really feel like there's that. Like everyone's going about their normal lives. It seems like mostly.
Yeah, so it just seems like a roving biker gang is terrorizing just the countryside.
Yeah, like the countryside of Australia, wherever in Australia this takes place.
Just Perth.
Yeah.
So, and compared to the other things where there are warlords and like orphans at stake and like dwindling resources, none of that is brought into here. In fact, in the movie, it's supposed to be sometime in the future, so it could be in the 90s, it could be 2000s, and when this movie was,
I think it specifically says when it starts, it says like a few years from now.
So the 80s,
a few years from 1979.
So I know the technology has definitely advanced, so I'm not gonna fault it on that.
Yeah.
It's still enjoyable for a I guess a vignette in this crazy universe. It's not supposed to go into so much detail because as soon as you start questioning it, it just starts unraveling. Especially when there's a lot more scenes just out of context than I remember. Like the police force that's just made up of I don't an after school program of cops.
Yeah. What's the weird thing about the first one is that they're still cops.
Yeah, there's just a police force.
And Max is a cop still in his first movie.
There still is order. There still is lawyers. There still are
and the lawyers are still the bane of police existence because the one of the guys they arrest is well he there was no witnesses. He did no one came into court. He's let him go.
Yeah, it's just they want to prevent kangaroo court.
Yeah,
I guess. There still are services in the area. There are petrol,
there's still auto repair shops and diners and TV news broadcasts and radio stations. It's not like the very next movie where society has absolutely collapsed into anarchy, and there's warlords and barely any like gas is like the most precious resource in the world, and like there's like these little like communities have sprung up that are trying to survive the wasteland.
So the first thing that you notice, and it kind of goes against the grain for post-apocalyptic things, is you have communication.
Hmm.
You need to cut off a good source of communication in order for the post-apocalyptic thing to kind of always happen. But I get it. It's 1979. There hasn't been a lot of material to explain wasteland like structure, but it really depends on how you view the Max movie. These series of movies. So my first Mad Max was number two,
Hmm.
and I didn't really watch number one a lot. So going back, it really is jarring because this movie does not feel like a Mad Max movie. Like it doesn't even feel like Mad Max is the main hero.
Oh no, like Max disappears for like, especially in the beginning, like he just disappears for like huge chunks, like because we're following the other like his partner, uh, Goose, which before Top Gun, we had the Mad Max's Goose. It's played by Steve Bisley, who is he has his own like storyline for like and then for like the first half of the movie, and Max is just like nowhere to be seen.
See, not only is Goose the secondary character, he's also a lot. He's the character featured on the poster, and that's
Yeah,
not
I believe.
Max.
Yeah, because like the like original iconic poster is like this guy with like a motorcycle, police motorcycle helmet, like leather police outfit with a gun. But Max doesn't look at that at all at any point in the movie, so it's obviously Goose or someone else like modeled after Goose.
It's Goose. It's the
Yeah,
only one that has that attire.
yeah,
And the movie starts just like as misdirections. I don't know if that's intentional or just cobbled together. Like it starts with like the two bumbling cops
yeah. Uh huh.
who, I mean, not even that. It starts with just like them, but then one cop is watching a couple make love in the like
Field.
untrained
Yeah.
grass field, yeah, in the field, and that's how like the movie just starts. So I don't know if it kind of has that like I don't know what the like New Zealand slash Australian comedy tone. It's something that I recognize as like a Peter Jackson thing too in his other works that aren't Lord of the Rings,
Hmm.
where it plays around with just like being goofy and then surreal, where it's like it's not a comedy, but it has comedy beats.
Hmm.
That happens a lot. Like just the two bumbling cops talking to each other, the Knight Rider just sort of making fun of things.
Yeah, I
Uh,
I thought it was interesting. Like, so yeah, so this guy who calls himself the Knight Rider, who is he's apparently I think he killed a cop and stole his car,
so
and so he
yeah,
and he and his girlfriend are like driving around in one of like the police interceptor cars. And I thought it was interesting because like so like Hugh Keays-Byrne plays Toecutter, who's like the main like motorcycle like gang leader, and then later on in Fury Road, which was his last movie, he played Morton Joe. And I thought it was funny. We're like, Knight Rider is like, he's like, Toecutter's gonna notice me. Toecutter notice me. Like it was kind of like this like weird like they like brought that back later for like the Witness Me stuff and like Fury Road.
so I think what happens is because people are so weird for villains that they idolize who can out villain the next guy.
Hmm.
That's why the police chief wanted to make Max the hero. Like he was looking to design uh, a cop that basically will clean up the land, and it
Yeah.
just like he didn't know how, but he knew just give him enough time, and this would
Well,
work.
I guess the only like they're like the evidence that like I guess society is kind of collapsing is that the police station is like a shithole. Like it's almost like an abandoned building that they're still operating out of, but it's all like crumbling and like barely like livable.
That could just be Australia. That could
Yeah,
be
okay,
Australia's
yeah.
version.
The
That
hall of justice.
yeah. Which every time I see that, I just think not the right Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, that's another thing about the movie is that the Knight Rider part it plays a big role because if you're like me, who I think the first time I've seen this movie, I missed the first 20 minutes or so I didn't know who the hell the Knight Rider was.
Yeah.
It's a one scene. long car chase. It's a
Mhm.
long car chase of the guy. He's not riding in the night. He's not. He doesn't have a helmet or something
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I feel like everyone's names don't match. Like
They do not.
Toecutter never cuts anyone's toes off. Like, so it's just like, why is he called Toecutter? I don't know.
I think there's a guy named like
Johnny the boy. He's not a boy.
he's a grown man.
Yeah.
I also think like there's a guy named like Luigi.
Yep.
I think
Like
he's just Italian.
like Toecutter's like like his his executive command guy is like Bubba Zanetti.
Oh, I forgot that was his name.
Yeah. Kundalini. Like all his
That's
like
it. Kundalini is the guy
yeah.
who he has like the mustache, and I was like,
Hmm.
I think he's supposed to be Italian. I don't know. We don't really hear from him. Yeah, like they're all just like mishmash of just looks like to me like Dexter and the Midnight Train. Like they all look like those guys.
Oh, Dexy's Midnight Oil, like the Come On Eileen guys.
Is it the Midnight Oil or the Midnight Train?
They're Midnight Oil, or like I think Midnight Oil. I think there's like they're two separate like Australian bands.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Midnight Oil, who did like Beds Are Burning.
Then, sorry, Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Who did like Come On Eileen. They wear like overalls.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they were from the UK. Either way, it's something to do on the other side of the world from where we are. Where
But yeah, they don't seem like compared to like the very next movie where we get like Lord Humongous. Like
Oh yeah, no, where basically they are start getting more ripped. And
yeah. And they're like literally like the Road Warriors from like the WWE. Like
yeah, they literally are. I don't know, more outdoorsy
barbarians, yeah.
barbarians. Yeah, the true like scavengers who basically look like they have to stay fit in order to like kill a lot more often.
Yeah.
These guys, this posse of bikers, are just assholes. Like
Hmm.
a lot of the time, everyone's afraid because no one wants to do anything. But and usually in like a one-on-one confrontation, they get like punched a lot. Like Toecutter gets like in the beginning, Toecutter almost gets hit by the car that's fleeing the town.
Yeah.
Okay, Toecutter also gets like an ice cream smushed in his face and like kicked in the groin.
Yeah.
Okay, Toecutter also is just like tricked into his demise, and he's the leader of the band
Hmm.
of the biker gang. Everyone else dies in like dumber ways.
They reminded me a lot of a little bit of like the Droogs and like Alex and the Droogs from like Clockwork Orange too, but it's like I don't know, we're just gonna like wander around, just cause random violence and just like assault people and just do whatever we want. Like
Right. So the Drews, at least in that, they were supposed to be like 16, 17,
yeah.
maybe 18. These look like all grown, like 30-year-old Australian men.
Yeah.
Which I get.
Like they should be like the wild hogs. Like
Yeah. Yeah. There are some parts where you do feel like they are organized. Like when they attack the car and they're all just like bashing it and decide to rip it strategically.
hmm
And then other times they're just like guys of no plan. Like when one of them loses an arm or a hand, and they're just yelling, and I don't know, like
the one guy makes like bird calls or like he meows like a cat or something. Like
yes, they all look like Fright Fest workers. At a theme
oh, there's
park.
also I think it's just like because they filmed it in Australia and like they didn't like the budget was so small. I feel like they couldn't like edit out or like get rid of like there's like just like I think there's like random like sheep calls or like bird calls in the background constantly. I couldn't tell if there was like a guy like one of the guys in the band like the group just like making weird animal calls or if it's just like there's just like random animals off
Farm.
screen that they couldn't like
Again,
get rid
they're
of.
just near an active farm.
Yeah.
So Mad Max also is one of those movies that is famous for being a guerrilla film at times.
Mhm.
Like George Miller did not secure enough funding to have permits and like close sets and I don't know, like safety coordinators. I was watching Mr. Sunday Movies review of of this Mad Max also, and they
Hmm.
bring up an important fact that a lot of these stunts were done by like a handful of professionals, and the rest were just like, you want to see some cool shit, like you don't die,
Yeah.
and that's why there's like there's a cool grittiness once you understand that. Like I feel like Mad Max is appreciated by film buffs, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if before Fury Road and maybe before Beyond Thunderdome, people were really into Mad Max besides like a very niche group of people that saw this in the theaters as like a road like a grindhouse movie.
Well, it's really similar to like Duel, like the Steven Spielberg movie that came out like 2 years before this. It's got that kind of vibe where it's just like we got a kind of like empty stretch of road. We got some vehicles, and then that's our movie. Like we're just gonna like these like car chases that are like we don't really have the budget to make like these like elaborate ones, but it's just gonna be like guys in actual cars like smashing each other. Like
Oh, so I've never seen Duel. I feel is that inspirational to this?
I mean, I don't. It was a TV movie, so I don't know like if it was like an American TV. So I don't know if George Miller was like in like somewhere where he could see it. I mean, it's become like a a cult like a cult classic and like a very like influential. Like it definitely inspired like Quentin Tarantino to do like Death Proof.
I see.
But yeah,
So
I don't
this
know
movie is
I don't know if George Miller saw it or maybe just
so
it was just kind of like that. That was the
so
vibe of like the '70s. Yeah.
this movie is mostly car chases and mostly like really road warrior stuff.
Except when it's like randomly running through the woods.
Yes, so that's like a whole different scene from another movie. It becomes a hard like there are times where it becomes a slasher
like the
movie.
hills have eyes or something. Or, yeah. Which can we talk about Max's family?
Sure.
Which it's a weird thing. Like yeah, he has a family, and the one thing that jumped out to me is that Max and his wife Jessie are like the worst parents of the world.
No.
Well, I mean, the first scene we see, his son is playing like his little son Sprague is playing with his fucking gun,
Okay, well,
and then I feel like there's
it's not
time like
loaded.
yeah, well, hopefully it's not loaded, but like there's not even a mention of like oh hey that's not a toy kiddo or whatever. Like it's not even like a joke. It's like Max just leaves one day. It's like is your son still playing with your gun? Like and then when they go on like their family trip later, I feel like there's like just like scenes where they're off on themselves, and it's just like, where's Sprague? Where's the kid? Like when like they're like Max like swimming like jumps in like that lake or whatever, and then they have like that like emotional like Max is talking about his father. It's just like, well, where's your son, Max? Like you're a terrible father.
I assumed he was there, and there is no big setup for that. It's just sort of uh like we'll get into that vacation scene, but
Hmm.
yeah, like they're not the worst. There's a lot of love, but I understand where yeah, don't give a kid a gun.
Maybe like just like very neglectful or like very forgetful
I think
because
forgetful.
it feels like the kid like Sprague is just, like left by himself constantly. Well, Max and Jesse just go off and have like romantic like interludes somewhere. It's like he's fine in the car. He's fine. He's fine with this dog we just purchased from a random guy on the street or on the road.
Did they buy a random dog?
Yeah, I think they just ran to a guy like on the road and just like, hey, can we buy one of your dogs? And he's like, all right, sure. Here's a dog.
I totally missed that. Also, okay, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of Mad Max you don't need to pay attention to. Like all the small details. It's not a subtle movie. It's actually at some points there's a lot of downtime. It's a lot of
Uh
like
huh.
Max staring and having moments, or watching his wife play the freaking saxophone.
Oh my god, yes.
It's totally random. And um, yeah, you see more about the like countryside of this area.
Hmm. Which
And
again
from
seems perfectly fine. Like you can just like you can like walk by yourself to the beach. You can
yeah,
like Max has like a his elderly like friend that he like they go and spend time with. Like they're just like driving around like a family like a station wagon, just
Station
having a
wagon,
great
yeah.
old time.
It's not a battle station wagon.
Yeah.
And the water seems clean that you could swim in it. It's
Hmm.
not like that's so precious. There's a lot of greenery happening in this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, Max is wearing like clean clothes. Like at one point he's just wearing like slacks and like a button down blue and white shirt, like a striped shirt. Like it looks just like fine. It's
Yeah.
not like there are cages of people being like hung upside down like in the road, or there's like a roving gang of motorcade people with like skulls. Like that doesn't
Yeah.
happen yet, and that's only 3 years after this.
Well, the only thing I can think of is because the road that like I think it's in the road in the beginning and the road at the end is like it's like some sort of like unauthorized zone or something. And like if you like read like the Wikipedia like description or like some other like plot descriptions, like that's like like I guess that's like the start. Like that section is already like a wasteland kind of like dystopian, and then I guess that spreads out for the rest of like Australia and then the rest of the world, I guess. Because like it's like I think that's where Toecutter and them come from is like this like forbidden zone, like it's like to like stay out of this area zone,
Gotcha.
and yeah, and
Yeah,
then
that makes more sense.
and everyone there's crazy already.
That makes more sense. Only because like I don't know where these people are. Like, where was Toecutter's goal? Was to collect the body of the Knight Rider. Actually, before we get too far into that, let's talk about the Knight Rider scene.
Hmm.
So, a guy breaks out of jail, meets Max. Max like tricks it, like doesn't even trick him. They just drive along the countryside, but the Knight Rider gets scared of Max because he realizes he encountered a guy who is just as fearless as him, or
Because they
more.
play chicken. They play chicken. Max wins because like they're not very flinched, I guess.
But then Knight Rider has like a mental breakdown.
Yep. Mhm.
It's never really explained. I think it's supposed to be interpreted that he is afraid. And that's what causes him to drive recklessly into like an oil fireworks factory. Like
Mhm. Yep.
uh so that's that, and plus that model of the car is the same Intercept model. I think Max then drives. So not only is that car only is like everyone in that car died, but then the shell of that car is fine. Like then they're able to rebuild that car into Max's Interceptor.
I don't know. I don't know if they built that car in the Intercept. I think they're like they were. I think they're already working on like the actual Intercept, like the other like because like the one that like the actual like the black Interceptor that Max drives at the end is like it's what it hasn't existed before. So like no one else had like no one else. It wasn't out there in like the the police force.
Really? Because it looked very similar to the car that Knight Rider drove.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I haven't really seen anything that says like oh like they turned that car into like
Well,
the
maybe not. It's supposed to imply because even that mechanic in the police shop says that it's bits of here and there they're able to scrap together.
yeah.
And
But
put
it's a crazy suit that it's got like a crazy like V8 like giant engine in it, and then and that's like the captain's like bribe basically. It's like, hey Max, we're gonna give you this like awesome fucking car, and then if you stay on as like stay on the police, well, you get to drive this car.
you can drive this cool car fighting cool Australian crime.
But then they don't like it's like here Matt, that's your car, but then he doesn't drive that car until the end. Like
But okay, so is it implied that Max drove all the way back to the city, like got back, and then drove all the way back to the countryside?
oh at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
he,
Yeah,
he did that in like a day.
yeah, because like he doesn't have like I guess yeah, that they're like station wagon's broken, like its fan belt broke, whatever. So like it's yeah, it seems like he walked all like, or like I guess maybe an ambulance came, and then he got to like the hospital, and then wherever the hospital is in relation to like the police station. Which also another thing, yeah, there's also still hospitals in the first Mad Max.
Yeah,
They don't seem very good, but there's still hospitals.
they work, but not all the time because the doctors just kind of gave up.
I was surprised the doctor wasn't smoking a cigarette in the room, just being like, "Yeah, she's gonna die." Like,
Oh, don't forget, it's also still like the '70s doctors.
yeah.
Barely any better yet.
Hmm.
So yeah, then Toecutter and his friends are like, "Hey, we witnessed Knight Rider because like everyone in the news is talking about how crazy the crime was, and this guy did it." And then they want to collect his body. I don't know why. I don't know what they're doing with the body besides collecting it.
Well, why does it end up in that like weird small town on the train?
I think so. The train is the station to pick up the body. So that's where
Yeah,
that happens.
but yeah,
Then
I got put on a train. And, yeah, I got put on a train just left at the station. Then they show up and like come to collect it.
right, they collected it. Then they bother this couple who is afraid of Toecutter. Like it doesn't imply. I don't think that couple that runs away knows Toecutter personally. I think they were just like,
No,
hey.
they just see they see all these guys doing like crazy shit in town. And it's like we gotta get out of here. Like,
But then Toecutter's like, we want to try to go after those guys now.
yeah,
Gotta
no
leave.
one leaves without us saying like
So I think that's the point. Is that Toecutter just didn't like them leaving?
maybe or like you said earlier, like they almost ran him over. So
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was a personal thing
what's
or they just wanted to get away.
that's another thing in this movie too. Like, cause like that couple has like a really like fancy like hot rod like souped up car, and that's like later on, later in the Mad Max movies, we got like these like like we were saying like cars with, like skulls on them, like very like like apocalyptic, and then this movie has like it's more like hot rods and like custom cars. Like there's like a scene where like Goose is just like admiring these like this couple that has like a crazy like custom motorcycle,
Yeah,
and he's just like, cool bike, guys. Later,
yeah,
like,
and he's like flirting with the girl.
yeah.
So I don't know if in this future, like it's just so weird. It's like this could just be the countryside of Australia,
hmm
not
People,
so
people
much.
people just have like super customized like cars and motorcycles,
Yeah,
and eventually it turns like the Doof Warriors amplifier truck, like
so that's the thing. I don't know if during this time frame, everyone in the future Mad Max installments are here at the same time. Like Max is like Max is what 30, maybe 28,
hmm
and yeah, like he is younger than Immortal Joe, so Immortal Joe has to be like older. You know, like in the sense of like he would have to be like 40 something in terms of like how to scale this correctly for later on in the series. I know like timeline doesn't make any sense, but Immortal Joe could just be like a gas station guy during this time,
maybe, yeah.
who's running like a sandwich shop before stuff gets worse.
He's making a sub. He's just making a sub like, witness me. Put mayo on your sub.
He hasn't gotten that yet, but it's getting there.
That should be like that should be like the Furiosa like prequel. It's just like Immortan Joe just like walks past like a hardware store and just sees like silver paint, just like that gives me an idea.
Yeah, essentially that's what's happening during this time. There was a Mad Max prequel comic series
Mm-hmm.
that came out a few years ago, or during the time of the first movie. I mean, not the first movie, but during Fury Road. That sort of explains the warring factions, but it doesn't really explain this era. Because again, it's hard to show this world and then not question where the hell were all these people doing. So
And how like apparently just like absolutely quickly like within like a couple years after this movie just like turned into the Road Warrior, where it's like a giant just a desert. The entire like environment collapsed and everything collapsed.
yeah, like where everyone is basically working out and then like making their own leather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Goose, who basically sets him off by was it like the young member
Johnny the boy.
Johnny the boy, who I think Immortal like I mean Toecutter has like a thing with. I think they have like a
That whole gang is like very homoerotic.
yes, which it doesn't I don't mind.
No,
It's
yeah.
their thing. It just though John the boy is supposed to be like a couple things. He's supposed to be like maybe the newest member. He is
Mhm.
the most wild. He's on drugs somehow. And then he's also like the catalyst.
Mhm.
They find him strung out. Like Goose and Max find John the boy strung out on heroin, like watching a girl in a car that they vandalized. Like it's such a weird placement. I thought it was like a trap, and you realize
Mhm.
it's not. It's like they just don't have a plan. It's
Yeah, that's not for That's not like where Max learned about Bates.
yeah, it's literally just like this dumb guy fell asleep, and they left the biker gang just left him.
Mhm. But yeah, they arrest him, and then apparently, when they went to court, and no one showed up. Like the girl they like assaulted didn't show up. Like nobody from town showed up. I mean, Goose and Max didn't show up, which is it's on them. But it's like,
Yeah, why didn't they show up?
yeah, but yeah, basically. But then the lawyer, like Johnny the boy's lawyer, shows up and says like, well, no one showed up, so like, and he's also like he's too crazy to stand trial, so he gets to go free.
Because that's how
And
the
then
law works.
yeah, and then Goose flips out and like almost beats him, like, or like Scully's trying to beat him, and it's like they stop him and then he breaks free and like beats up Johnny the boy for a little bit, and then they catch him again, and they breaks free, beating on him again. But yeah, but eventually like the gang takes it back, but then they're like, well, we gotta get revenge on these two guys, or at least like, it's more on Goose because Goose is the one that was like hit like trying to like beat the shit out of him, and
Yeah, but
then
John the boy also knew the system. He
yeah.
said, "Yeah, they've been doing this for a while. They know how to play the odds, I guess."
But then when Goose is at a like cabaret show, it's like just it's like going on somewhere in like the city. Uh, they take I think they take like they like loosen something or they take something off his bike.
I think it's breaks.
Yeah, so they sabotage his bike, and then he goes like, and then like he's like he's flying down the road on his bike, and he crashes, and it's like this crazy spectacular crash, and he just gets up, he's fine. Like he's just like, wow, that was a crazy crash. Like
So I since for those who've seen this movie before or know of what happens, you think that's the main incident. You think that was gonna be it, but it just keeps escalating because it's like the next day
yeah,
follow up happens.
but yeah. So he crashes his bike. He should be dead from that crash. He's not. He's fine. He calls like a someone like a buddy who has a truck, and he puts his bike in the back of the truck, and then he's driving his truck, and that's when they attack him finally.
Yeah, it basically seemed like the first incident is not related to the second one. I do
Yeah,
like that expectation. Going
they somehow like they Johnny the boy was like stalking him, and then like if the bike that crashed and kill him, he had this backup plan of like I'm gonna throw like a brake drum through like the truck windshield.
Yeah, that wasn't really much a plan. That just seemed like a spur of the moment. But then the next part of the like, let's also burn him, just seemed
Yeah,
like even Johnny wasn't even about that.
yeah. Well, because was Johnny or like Toecutter was like the one about like I think Johnny was like yelling about like we got these bronzes, man. We like he was like yelling about the cops and like we gotta start taking down the cops, and then Toecutter was like, do it then, like show me.
But then, yeah, Johnny was like, I didn't want, no, not like this. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
He sort of resists, but it's too late at that point. Like
Mhm.
you're part of this crazy ass gang now.
Yeah, and then Goose is turned to like a charred, like a charcoal briquette. And I guess he's still alive, but then like he's in the hospital, and like Max goes in there, and he's just, like horrified by which I think that like they should show like his hand, but then like Max pulls down like where his face is, and he's like horrified by it.
Yeah, I do like that it's not as graphic as it could be. It tries to show more reactionary and then I guess
They probably also didn't have the budget for like crazy
yeah,
like bird makeup, but
it probably would have looked terrible. It would have
yeah,
looked like just a bunch of like watercolor paint.
it wouldn't have looked like like Harvey Dent in Dark Knight. It would have been like some sort of like just like weird face paint or something. Maybe with some like oatmeal put into it or something. but then Max is like, instead of like, I'm gonna seek revenge for my friend, it's like, I need to go. I need to leave. I need to like put the police force. And then his captain's like, well, why don't you go on vacation instead? And then you can think about it. Then you can, if you still want to quit, you can quit after you go on vacation.
Well, because I guess the police chief is still hedging his bets, and I don't know what. Okay, when that happens, you see like the police chief just watering his plants without a shirt on.
With, yeah, no shirt, like a he kind of has like an ascot on,
Yep.
like a scarf or like sort of like a tie, but no shirt.
So again, as a kid, when I first watched this, confused. I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, "What is happening? Is it just
This is Australia. This is
giant,
live just in
giant
Australia.
increase?" Because I did not know that in the original Mad Max, if you miss the blurb that it's set in the future, you just think this is Australia. There's just like
Yeah.
some zany Australian culture. Uh, but yeah, then Mad Max goes on vacation and becomes like a large part of the movie too.
hmm it's just like a fun road trip. Like they're like they're traveling across Australia. They get a dog. They're like hitting swing holes. Um,
They're also stopping by like ice cream shops and gas stores. Like it
mhm.
does not seem very post-apocalyptic. So the gas station part was interesting, where they are stopping for like ice cream and trying to repair a spare tire.
So yeah, something happened. To they have to get like a new tire, like redo do something on their tire. Um, and then but yeah, but then they don't need the car there. Like they just need the tire there, and because like you know Jessie like drives off with like, we're gonna get some ice cream, and then like Max is left at the repair shop with the guy. But then that's where they run into like Toecutter's gang. I don't know if they were following them or they're just randomly at this like seaside town. Like
I think they were randomly there. I think it
they,
was.
they gave up on the other town. They're like we're traveling down the road to this town now.
Yeah. So essentially, I'm assuming it's all one highway road. They don't have like multiple paths because it's Australia is just one giant circle.
Yeah, it does. Like if you see the roads in this movie, it seems like it's just one long straight road that just goes across. Like you stay on that road, and you never get off that road.
Yeah, there's no main street that they show you. There's no alternate path. So eventually, I think it's not even like a lot of odds. You're just gonna meet the person if they just want to go to the beach. You go to the one spot all the beaches are at apparently.
hmm
So yeah, just unfortunate that these biker gangs are just hanging around this ice cream shop, harassing this woman,
hmm
and there are some creepy one-liners. There's a line said by one of the henchmen that just says, "Oh, my favorite, a woman," or something like that. Like it's something very
Well,
like,
it's like he sees Jesse and Sprague, and he's just like, "Oh, look, dinner and desserts,"
yeah, creepy.
and it's my favorite woman, or like a woman. But yeah, and like you mentioned before, like Jesse like smashes the ice cream in Toecutter's face and knees him in the balls, gets away, and then the one guy I think we mentioned like Kundalini, who I guess is like the Italian member or like something. It's not really clear what anyone's like gimmick is. They're just all like kind of crazy like biker guys, but he tries to like use a chain to like latch onto the car, and then it rips his hand off.
I don't know what his plan was. He really wrapped that chain around his hand, and then
He was gonna like, he was gonna stop the car. Like, he was just gonna like
the chain.
plant his feet and like stop the car. But yeah, they get away, and then like they pick up Max, and then they go to Max's like friend's house, like May, who just like
They don't say who that person was.
yeah. Well, Wikipedia says she's an old friend of Max from how he met her, where like how like all the details we don't know. It's just like they go to her like cottage in the like farm in the woods, and then she has like a giant like special needs son that that is just like wandering around.
Yep. A
Benno.
lot of that was kind of like I kind of remember this scene differently in the movie. I always thought the Sun and Max like they helped each other. I thought they did like a team up scene or something, but they literally are just secondary characters. They didn't even need to be in this movie, and the movie still would have made sense.
Yeah.
It could have just been like a house they rented or a house they found. The special needs son just sort of pops up as a misdirect to scare Jessie,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's so weird because I think like we never see the son again after that scene.
No.
I don't know if George Miller just knew someone and was just like, hey, look, in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
we'll let us use your land and then we will put someone in your family in our movie.
But yeah, but this scene is where we get like the like it's seemingly endless like forest chase where like Jesse's just running for what seems like forever away from like the Toecutter and his gang and the gang through the woods.
Yeah, then they're popping out like ninjas. Like
Yeah. Mhm.
if you see them, they're all like scattering and running around. And again, it's like, are they? They're very organized. Have they done this before?
But then the funny thing is they get everyone gets back to like this farm and then May manages to like put like lock all the gang in the barn because she has a shotgun like a single like double barrel shotgun like shoots it once and forces all the guys to the barn
Yeah,
and like and they're like, oh man, we're defeated, she has a gun. Like,
I do like that for the whole gang. They don't have guns.
yep.
There's no self defense thing. No one has an arrow. No one has a knife they throw. They're just like, okay, well, shotgun beats this. This
Mhm.
beats everyone.
She can obviously take all of us out with the like one shot left in her gun. Like, um but then the door to the barn is like hilariously like flimsy and they just smash through it. Which I mean I guess just like 5 or 6 guys smashing on it, but it's still like it like collapses like cardboard. Like it's just like or like balsa wood. They just like smash through it and then they're back in the chase.
Yep. Okay, let's get to the scene where the Toecutter gang really amps it up by running over Jessie.
Oh yeah.
Uh one of the things I always ask about running away from vehicles like that is why would you follow the road? Why don't you run parallel? I guess she was afraid, and she was hoping that they wouldn't just run into her, but they do.
Yeah, like just like betting that like Toecutter is not insane enough to like run over a baby,
And he was.
but he is. Yeah. But again, no, he doesn't cut the toes off. Like, why is he called
Yeah.
Toecutter?
I no idea.
Like, he should have like a cigar like cutter, and like that's like he kills someone and like it's like I cut, or like I have a necklace of toes or something. Like, he should be like that guy in like he should be like Darkman, like like Drake. He should have like all like just ears or whatever, like or eyeballs or whatever.
Yeah, his wife makes it all the way back to some centralized hospital where I think she loses her arm.
She-
Then
she-
eventually she
look,
passes away.
She has no arm, no leg. They said it's like there's like massive internal injuries. And then yeah, they're like, I love how the doctor's like Max is standing outside of the room, and then like the doctor's like, tell him she'll be fine. Tell me, like, she's not, but tell him, like lie to him.
And he is like horrifically hearing this. You see,
Yeah.
the look on his face, and his like world is sinking.
That's when he turns into Mad Max finally. The last 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Again, I knew that going in again as my rewatch that it's a very slow burn to where you see Mad
Yeah.
Max.
This whole movie, I mean, I very much appreciate it, but this feels like it could have been like the first like 10 minutes of the Road Warrior or something. Like you just get like this like opening scene, like you establish like everything in this movie could be like cut down to like the first act of like Road Warrior, and then you're like, oh, and then he's like end up in the apocalypse. Like someone like this like madman ran over his like wife and son, and then he became like this like like roaming police vigilante guy.
I mean, essentially, that's what they did in Fury Road. You
Hmm.
don't even get you just get like tidbits, and if you happen to be watching these movies in order or aware of the whole series, it's rewarding to know. But that's all you need. Again, it feels very like art house college like amateur movie.
Yeah, it's. I
But
mean, yeah, George Miller's first movie, so yeah, he's he's still working out the kinks.
yeah, and it's fine. So I like it. This movie now as a rewatch, it's definitely for movie buffs. Is
Hmm.
it for everyone? No. It's hard to recommend watching the first Mad Max if someone's never interested in it, because you have to say, okay, you have to watch like Road Warrior and then maybe Thunder Beyond Thunderdome and then Fury Road, but until or appreciate where it started. Like, it's always rough trying to go back in time and
Hmm.
relive the nostalgia, especially in a way that if you say post apocalyptic, you're just like they had ice cream, like
Yeah. Mhm.
they had ambulances, like it's
Yeah.
very different. Uh, that being said, again, it's still cool to watch Matt. The 15-minute montage of Max hunting down this gang is good because you spent such a long time watching Max sort of, you know, give up his duties as a cop, realizing the danger, and then uh
Well, like his chief hypes him up as like he is the best interceptor on the police force. Like he's the best cop on the police force, basically. And we've only seen him really like kind of do like a little bit of that, like way back in the beginning. But
maybe.
then, then here, yeah, he's suited up. He's in his iconic Mad Max like leather outfit. He gets his souped up the V8 like interceptor, the black interceptor. He's got his like sawed off shotgun. He's like fully Mad Max now.
Yeah, he pretty much just does things, no talking. He's mad as hell,
Yeah,
and I think he does this all in a day.
something. Yeah, it's short time after he leaves the hospital and then suits up. He's just like, yeah, he managed to hunt them all down. And then he like drives. He just like drives most of them off the road. Like he just like kind of like runs up like most of the gang off the road off of bridges and stuff.
Yeah, he kills most of them that way.
Yeah, I mean,
Kills
are they even
all of
dead?
them
Are
by
they dead though, or are they just like kind of like they just crashed and it's like, oh no, our bike's ruined.
I don't know. It's not like he falls into like a gigantic pit of spike. He pushes them into like a river.
Yeah, they don't explode either. It's just like, oh, I crashed off the side of the road. But I mean, he definitely gets Toecutter because he managed to get Toecutter to crash or drive into a truck, oncoming truck, and it's like is like graphically run over by the truck.
Oh, what did you think about the fake eyeballs?
It was just like that's kind of jarring. Which is like, wait, what? What? Because it's before he gets hit. It's like I mean, after he gets hit, I can maybe see like, oh, his eyeballs popped out, but it's just like it's before. It's like this like cartoonish like boing like oncoming truck.
Very different. Like I said, it's like a whole different movie. That scene feels like something out of a comedy.
Hmm. But yeah, that's a cool, satisfying death for Toecutter. But then, like the final scene, like it's like he managed to track he kills everyone else, and but like Johnny is the only one left, and then he tracks him down, and Johnny is like doing his usual Johnny thing of like he's like trying to steal the boots off a dead guy that crashed on the side of the road,
Yeah,
and
what made
then
that guy crash?
just like there's a random crash. But then I love that like Max basically puts him in like a saw trap.
That
Like
was pre-saw trap. That
yeah, this like like James Wan had to see this and be like, oh yeah, what if we made a whole movie like that? Like because he
it's the bit. Essentially, they keep crediting Mad Max for that idea of I put you in a trap. You could do this or that.
yeah.
And where do you stand? Do you think Johnny got out of it or he blew up?
I mean, I feel like it's way too like it's like basically it's like as soon as Max left, like it was like the car blew up. So it's like I think Max like gave him told him he had options, but I think he like set up to, like just kill him. Like I don't think he like expected like saw his own leg off and get out. Like it was just like he told me he had 5 minutes. He probably had like 1 minute.
So I don't know if basically if this was like it. Do you think this scene? It's still a pretty powerful scene. But do you think this scene would have been better if it was a callback to something earlier? If they did the same thing to him, as a, like they're so messed up they tricked Max thinking that he ever had a choice, or is
Yeah.
it a, or if you want to get even deeper about it, and potentially this is George Miller's simplicity, is that how the police chief was giving Max a choice to be the cop, and
Mhm.
it's like this is Max's choice to say, like, no matter what, like, it's the illusion of choice. Is that the metaphor?
mean, I think it's just like to show like, Max, he like the law is gone. Like he's it's his own law now. It's his own like justice. He's just like I'm doing whatever I I can do to survive. And then like if someone crosses me, I'm just gonna like take them out.
But then why give the guy the choice? Why not just do the same thing he's been doing to the rest of the gang?
I know. I think it was also just like he wanted to like do something like especially like to Johnny because he burned Goose alive or like I don't know if did Max know that or like
I don't know that.
I think he just kind of assumed like the whole gang did it, but or I think maybe um like I think Johnny was like yelling stuff about like, oh, I didn't kill the family, or I wasn't I wasn't involved in anything.
Yeah, but I wouldn't believe I wouldn't believe
No,
him.
yeah,
He's like whacking out of his mind.
yeah. I don't know. I think it was just like that was. I think it was more like that was Max turning into Mad Max, where it's just like now like he's just like I'm not a cop anymore. Like you're not getting arrested. I'm gonna like I'm killing you in like this like over the top way now.
You know, I'm surprised he doesn't do that again in later movies. There's no more
Yeah, he doesn't.
death traps.
He just takes guys out like later on. There's no like elaborate elaborate like death traps anymore.
Yeah, I would have liked like a gimmick for Max, if it's not just like beating people and just being mad. I think the it's a, I don't know if this would play over time well, but him handcuffing people to
Hmm.
things. I know that sort of happens in Fury Road where he gets handcuffed to like a wild boy,
Uh huh.
but yeah, I think it would have been a running gag in his movies of how he fights his enemies if he handcuffed them, or he just happened to have a hacksaw handy.
He's like opens his leather jacket. He just has like a thing of hacksaws.
Hmm. Yeah.
No,
And then the movie's a,
I would say the Max thing is it's like his car is like the main thing. 'Cause it's like basically becomes like his home is like his like interceptor, which is like such a big deal when it gets like demolished in Fury Road. Like
but then they rebuilt it again in Fury Road.
yeah, but overall like so the first one Max it's definitely interesting to go back to. It's very it's like interesting to see like George Miller's start. Um, I kind of I kind of compare it maybe a little bit to like Doctor No, where it's like there's pieces of like where James Bond like because Doctor No is like there's a lot of weirdness for James Bond stuff. It's like I like oh there's definitely James Bond elements here, but like a lot of it's not in place yet. And then like the next it took James Bond like two movies to get there, and then Mad Max is like next one was like oh yeah this is all the pieces are in place now. The Road Warriors like fully forward Mad Max.
I will argue that Doctor No, it's stylish and it has a tone. They just don't know how to invest in the right moments of it.
Well, it
And
does
Max, it doesn't know what it wants to do for the first 20 minutes or so.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, Doctor No is like much more like the uh, I don't
theme.
like
The theme is set in
yeah.
Doctor No because
It's
it's
just
it's based on a book.
it's just missing like some of the other elements, like there's no Q, there's no like some of the other stuff, like some of the stuff is missing, and then if Goldfinger's where it all kind of like finally came together, like this is like a fully formed James Bond movie.
Yeah, then it became like a formula. It
Yeah.
found out its success of having these beats. Mad Max in the beginning, it's just all over the place.
Hmm.
It's just like it's a comedy, it's an action movie, it's a like a criminal
a,
drama.
a family like vacation
Yeah,
movie.
family vacation. It's a man who wants to give up the life of being the cop, and then it's a man who also is supporting his partner who loves being a cop because it's cool.
Hmm.
Goose is Craig weird. Like he doesn't have a family. He's just going out to cabarets. He's having like lunch like during the day.
Yep. Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I kind of wish there was more to that interceptor force, but we don't get any of that anymore.
Yeah, it's four guys and the captain. That's the entire police force left of this, like, I guess whatever area of Australia this is.
Just keeping up that civilization in that one zone.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a nice like reminder of cinema. It's not it's not like a great like, oh hey, let's watch the original Mad Max because it's so goddamn entertaining.
Hmm.
I got the last 20 minutes for me always is great. That I will say always stays where he's pissed and he's going murdering these gangs and just with a car.
But if you just jump into Road Warrior, you get everything you need to know, and then it's all the like actual like Mad Max stuff that you're like you've heard about or looking for.
Yep. I said Road Warrior is better. It's one of the things where like a sequel is a faster beat.
Hmm.
It's the same thing as like Evil Dead. People love Evil Dead, but then Evil Dead 2 is that like just improved.
Yeah, that's probably a better comparison to like instead of like Doctor No, like it's like, yeah, Evil Dead 2. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, Evil Dead 1 has its own place. It's just
Hmm.
it's hard to recommend people if they are used to more modern horror and I guess Evil Army of Darkness. It's like don't make a whole day out of it. Like if we were trying to watch a Mad Max marathon, I don't know if I would throw this on first.
The machete cut of the Mad Max series. Like, we're gonna watch Mad Max 2, and then we're gonna go back to the first one, and then we're gonna go to Thunderdome.
I would argue you skip Thunderdome. You say 2, Fury Road, Mad Max 1, Thunderdome.
Hmm.
And at some point, we figure out where the Furiosa movie fits in place.
We gotta watch Furiosa before Fury Road, or like I got that's weird because like it's like you need to watch you need to watch Fury Road to like understand like because there's gonna be so many like references like Fury Road of like
Yeah.
here's like these characters from Fury Road that you like know, and then here's where they started from.
Hey, it's my favorite character, the gun maker or the bullet maker.
Yeah, like the Gun King or whatever. Like, and then whoever Chris Hemsworth's playing. But yeah, so I think I'll do it for our Mad Max Club. Happy 45th anniversary to Mad Max, and hopefully the series continues with Furiosa, and hopefully it's as awesome as Fury Road. We'll find out this summer. Any other final Mad Max thoughts, Chris?
Uh, yeah, like whatever happened to Goose after the movie? Is there ever a chance you think that Goose will ever come back in another Mad Max movie?
I mean, if the like society collapsed like so soon after this first one, and he was like in like a burn unit in like an already terrible hospital, like I don't think he made it out.
Nuts.
I don't think there's like a like Rick Grimes style, where like they left him in the hospital and he wakes up after the apocalypse, like stumbles out.
I don't know. Maybe he secretly is Immortal Joe.
Maybe, yeah. Although Immortal Joe's not burned. I mean, he just has like a weird like lung condition or something. He just like breathe oxygen and get so much milk.
Who knows?
But yeah, so that's it for this week's episode. Head over to the site. We've got all of our usual news, features, articles. I've got a review of Monkey Man if you want to read about that. Dev Patel's new action revenge movie. We have our trip to PAX East, so you can read all about that on the site. We've got all trailers, news, everything else up there. Head over and check all that stuff out. And yeah, so for Chris, I'm Zach, and we will see you next week. For more Everything Action, head to www.everythingaction.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @EVAction, on Facebook by searching for Everything Action, and follow us on Instagram @everything.action. You can also subscribe and get more episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.